Hello everyone, my name is lucymushroom and welcome to another video. It's been a long time since I've posted a speed build. Well, I say that, it hasn't been that long. I posted this castle speed build the other week and then I didn't post the part 2. And as you can see here, this is the part 2. It's actually been a while since I've built it. So it's, it's a bit of an experience watching it back again for me myself, actually remembering what I did. To just jump right into the build, as you can see, what I'm doing right now is setting up the activities I want the Sims to do whilst they're here. If you remember from the last one, this is a boarding school using the Adventure Awaits expansion pack. I'm not even kidding, I had to stop recording there to go and look at the name of the pack because I couldn't remember. And I don't think that's a me problem, I think it's a problem with the fact that we have so many packs, okay? It's not my fault, I swear. I probably should state, if you don't want to see any of this stuff, then I am more than happy to put chapters in so you can just skip back to the build. So, if you look at the video, there should be chapters if I remember to do it. If not, in the description I'll put a timestamp to where you can just get back to the video. And that, I mean, but me building. But this pack does make it possible to just really set scheduled activities for all the Sims. So here I'm setting up different activities I want them to do, and you just kind of need to do this because otherwise it's hard to know how to build certain areas, because I need to know what is capable. So this is what I was figuring out in this section. I guess it's one of those problems where it's like there were so many different things I could set, it was kind of tricky to figure it out. I knew that I wanted to do a good selection of indoor craft activities but also outside activities. Of course, as we know, they can't have proper lessons. You can have, there's a board, what's the name of the board? There's the board from business, there's the board from businesses and hobbies that you can use to do lectures and sort of classes in a way, but obviously it's not like a proper boarding school class. But I guess with this kind of thing you still have to roleplay a little bit, like it's not going to be perfectly a boarding school, there are certain limits. If you download this from the gallery though, I think it does come with the schedule that I set, and of course you can change it however you like. If it doesn't come with this, then hey, you can always come back to the video and see, once I finish this, all the things I set, just so you know, because sometimes it helps to have something set and not have to try and look at the build and figure out the activities that, the lessons that make sense and stuff from that. I had to make sure to include all of the different staff as well, and they do have somewhere to sleep. I don't remember if I showed in the latest video the basement, which has their rooms. So as you can see, we are now back to building. I'm trying to figure out what sort of play equipment they should have here, because originally I was going to do like a basketball court, and then I changed it when I actually got access to the back. So I was like, I had to use the new playset. I had to use the new playset. I was so excited, the fact that we had modular playsets available, so it felt necessary. I can't remember here how long it took me to actually figure out how I wanted to lay out the playground, but I know I really was overthinking it. I wanted to get like the perfect layout, and it's sometimes hard to know, I guess, with the stuff, the amount of space it all takes and how much space you need to leave so that it's all functional. So it took me some time to figure it out, because you can see like there are some bits that are going a little bit into the main pathway, and I didn't want to do that. Like, I wanted to make sure it all fit into this single space, so it's easy for Sims to still walk around. But yeah, it'll take a little bit of time, but we do get there in the end. It's so cool to finally have something like this in The Sims. There are other things in The Sims that just aren't very good, but you know what? We can be pleased when we actually have something like this that is so useful. I do apologise for how sporadic I am with my building. I just keep going back and forth. I keep seeing something in the outside section, I'm like, oh, I want to have that, and then putting it down and then going back to what I was doing. Like, look, I'm doing terrain stuff here. Although I did kind of realise I needed to, because some of it just wasn't flat. And it makes it very hard to try and lay things out when it's not, laying how it should on the ground. So it ended up being a little bit necessary. And as strange as it seems, I wanted to have some more just kind of regular play equipment on the other side, because I just think, again, all the kids that I want to have on this slot at this school, like, I want them to have lots of spaces they can go to hang out, and having like just the one playset just didn't seem like it was right to me. I wanted to give them as much space as possible to be able to socialise, so it felt important. Putting in some benches. You've got to have some nice areas, I think, for the kids to sit. Hopefully, read a little book, chat to each other. At least you shouldn't have the problem with this lot with so many Sims, like couples, sort of just hogging all the benches. I'm hoping with this being mostly geared towards young people, like, we shouldn't have that problem. Although it's going to be a problem if the teachers are doing that, but hopefully they don't. With all the set schedules, I'm hoping they do just follow the schedules, because I haven't really tested it that much with this kind of lot, so we're gonna have to hope for the best. But that thing is annoying. It's because of Love Struck, and it's cute, but then when every single couple is hogging one of the benches so they can look at the sky together, it's like, oh my god, I need a bench too. Okay, get off the benches. Oh, here I'm working on the greenhouse. I kind of decided quite late into the build I wanted to have some sort of greenhouse area. I hadn't really initially planned on that, but although I wanted it to be a very olden style castle, I think they would have more of a modern kind of greenhouse. I just think it makes sense. Like, they want to have a state-of-the-art sort of gardening facility available to the Shin, so really, I just think it made the most sense. Kind of struggling with the roofing for it, as you can see. I always try and do something more complicated than it really needs to be, and then I do something like this and it's like, yeah, I guess it's just easy, simple, does the job. Don't need to overthink everything. You know, it's difficult to strike the balance with these kind of speed build sort of videos where it's like what I should say. I mean, I kind of get into it when I start filming it and I can just think of things to do with the build, but it's also not a bad thing for it to be a bit more of a space to just talk about what's going on at the moment in my life and like video ideas and stuff. So I figure it's not a bad place to do that. I know I enjoy watching a lot of creators to use this kind of space to just kind of chat. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. I actually should have posted this, as I kind of alluded to in the beginning of the video. Should have really have posted this a while back. Like, I didn't plan for there to be such a gap between the part 2 for this build, but there's been a lot of things going on in my personal life, and I laugh just to hide the pain. One of my childhood dogs passed away literally just before the weekend. My full-time job, which I don't want to go into too much detail of, but just, you know, my job has been kind of rubbish recently. Things have been really difficult at work. And it's been kind of tricky keeping up with content. I definitely missed a few uploads, and I'm not always the best at communicating, so I apologise if there was any confusion over that. But things have been a little tricky recently, but I want to get back into it again. I'm trying to just keep going. Just want to play some more of my silly games and upload it for you guys, so if you are still watching, you know, these minutes in, and you have any ideas for future videos, please let me know. I want to do just a few more kind of builds in The Sims like I always do. I haven't been doing any gameplay in The Sims for a while, so I did start an Adventure Awaits save on stream that I might post a little bit about on here and maybe start playing again, but really there's just other games I've wanted to play. I enjoyed playing Peak again recently. Really been into playing Animal Crossing again, and I've gotten quite a lot of love in my Animal Crossing videos, so thank you if you enjoyed those, and I got some really lovely comments on my Halloween one, so thank you if you happen to be one of the people who commented. It really made my day. I'm struggling a little bit at the moment with my Animal Crossing save because I want to do more villager hunting, but I don't know if that kind of video is something that people actually really enjoy, so I'm struggling. I might just do a villager hunting video straight up, and if people want to watch it, then they can, and then I don't have to make everybody watch it just in my like Lavender Diaries videos. It's not everybody wants to watch villager hunting. I know it's something I really like, but doesn't mean everybody else likes it, so I'm kind of thinking that's the plan, but I very much plan to just do more Animal Crossing videos and just some more cozy videos in general, and not really just Sims, especially with all the news going on with Sims at the moment. Saudi Arabia, you know what's going on with that. If you don't, just Google it. Sims Saudi Arabia, you'll get the vibe. It's not good, and it's kind of put me off playing Sims a little bit recently. So I'm definitely not going to stop posting Sims, but there's a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, which I don't think I'm the only person feeling that way. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. I'm thinking for the channel, what's been up with me. I want to get back to more regular posting, and I'm going to do my best to do that. But to get back to the build, the whole reason that you're here, I finished sort of the gardening. I say finished, I'm not really quite done with the gardening area yet, but I moved on to this indoor space, which is going to lead up to a little sciencey area. Some telescopes out on the balcony, but this downstairs part is going to be the dining room. Just a heads up there, I can't remember actually when I started furnishing it, but there will be a massive dining room and kitchen there. But I'm just focusing on some of the surrounding areas for now. As you can see, I did include archery because archery is new and it's fun, and I need an excuse to actually use more of it because I really have barely touched it in game so far. So I wanted to have archery here, and I thought it really fit the vibe. Oh, and if you didn't know, that big box is for catching butterflies, which again I haven't done too much of, and I really need to, but you can collect butterflies in the game and it's super fun. So I've got that there because I don't really know how well that would work with just having your sim visit, and like whether you would really want to put butterflies you collected in the school bug thing, but maybe you want to, I don't know. It's there if you want to use it. See, I think my favourite thing about this build is actually the lighting, which I know is a really weird thing to say, but getting to use lots of warm lighting and candles is just such a vibe, and I think it was just really fun getting to make it feel so cozy with all of the candles and stuff. I genuinely really enjoyed it. Like, it looks so cozy in this build, which is why I was really inspired to make a castle-y kind of build with this pack, and just have a reason to visit a castle build, because otherwise I've had a sim live in like a mini castle once, but really, when do you have like a need for a castle in this game, other than if you're playing some sort of medieval save? So I wanted an excuse to be able to play in a castle. But it felt like it made sense, and this was my solution, was to make it into a boarding school. So it was incredibly fun for me to do. I love this style, and getting to use all of these like kind of reds and yellows in terms of like the lighting, and the reds with really old style furniture was just such a blast. I really hope that when you do play in this, and you do have all your Sims have meals, that they do actually come and sit in this dining room. Honestly, we know what they can be like. Sometimes they'll just sit anywhere. So, who knows? I would love it if they all actually came and sat in this massive dining room together and had meals together. Like, it would just make my heart so happy. But, alas, you know, who knows how the Sims will behave? The Sims don't know how the Sims will behave. So all we can do is hope for the best. But it looks cute anyway. Like, it's a really nice communal space. And I did put a couple. Did I keep these? I hope I did. I think I put some permanent actual games tables in here because I thought if it doesn't work well as an actual dining room, then I wanted it to be effective as a games room still. Not a full games room, but just, you know, somewhere that your Sims can come and play games with each other. Because I feel like I don't use these game tables enough in actual gameplay, so I really wanted to use them here. See, I think it's fair to say that with all the, you know, the candles in here now, like, it's really starting to come together, especially when I do add the artwork in. I didn't really talk over the kitchen. I wanted it to be kind of small and dark. I thought that really fit to the overall aesthetic of the place. Obviously, it's not probably the best to cook in, because it is kind of dark in there, but I kind of wanted it to feel more authentic in that way. Maybe it would make more sense for them to have a massive kitchen, but I guess that doesn't really make sense in terms of this game. Like, you don't need to have some massive kitchen to cook. I mean, to be honest, you don't really have that many Sims in this school, you know? So really, us having a smaller kitchen makes more sense. How do you guys feel about that new gallery wall that we have that is a little bit wonky in terms of the actual frames? Personally, I kind of like it. I know sometimes people can get very annoyed about that lack of symmetry. I guess it's less symmetry. It's just like not perfect, and I know that can be kind of frustrating to look at sometimes, can't it? I quite like it though. Oh, see, this was my favourite part of the whole build, potentially. Although I do really like the kids' bedrooms. I think I did a good job with those, but I loved making this library. Now, as you're going to eventually be able to see, like, this is a massive library, but not massive in terms of it just being one big room. It's a really tall tower library. There is so many books that really, honestly, so many of them are actually inaccessible. But it doesn't matter in the game, and the vibes are so good. I had to use these bookshelves. I mean, I really wanted to use the other ones because I guess the other ones have more design to them. Like, these are just very simple bookshelves. But unfortunately, it's just the Book Nook ones made the most sense. They worked the best for this. just for having so many of them. I can't remember if I did actually remember to go through and change some of the swatches on them, so if I didn't, then I apologise now. As you can tell, this was quite a big job in general doing this library, so you just work with me here. Especially as eventually I'm going to add like a balcony to certain layers. It'll look really cool when it's all together. It's hard to capture it, how cool it looks, but trust the process. See, here I am doing some quite fiddly work to have these balconies. It felt necessary to have the balconies because otherwise it's just a massive wall of books. And that almost seemed like it would be too much. I mean, it is a bit much still, but hopefully in a good way. Oh no, I'm remembering how fiddly it was to get the you know, chandelier in the right place. This was so annoying. And there's probably a way easier way I could have done it, but no, I did it the hard way. You see, I'm just trying to raise it up to be at the right place, right at the top. It worked, but yeah, this is just me not always having the best way to do things. This is where I am going to have to apologise. I made a little bit of an error here, and you're about to see the bedrooms pretty much finished for the kids' rooms because I didn't record myself doing those, even though they are probably like one of my favourite parts about the whole build. I was so frustrated when I realised it was genuinely a bit upsetting. So I'm really sorry about that. You will get to see them though in more detail, I promise. So don't worry. But hopefully, just as we're talking here, you'll get some glimpses of it. I decided to go for one of the bedrooms to be more of like a green colour, and then one of them be red. I think we have 6 or 8 beds in each room. I think it's 6. And outside each of the rooms is this long hallway, some of which is like a sitting area, and I think one of it's got like chess tables, but you should see me furnishing that at some point soon coming up. As you may have noticed as well, the actual screen that you're looking at has changed. I have my avatar up on the screen and this big red box, which I know is probably not the nicest thing to have to just sit and look at. It's not been edited the best, so I'm sorry about that, but it's because at this point that I actually did this section of the video, I streamed this part, and at this point when I was streaming I was still using my face cam, which I haven't used in ages, and I've just decided to kind of go without a face cam for now. So I kind of wanted to edit over that with just my avatar and like to cover up the camera. So it's a little messy looking, sorry about that. This section isn't very long, I only streamed it for quite a short period of time, so Here I am trying to cover up a roofing glitch with the edges of the roofing. It's not, I guess, as much of a glitch, but I would kind of consider it a glitch because you should be able to put a thicker roof trim and it not clip with the wall. But that's okay, we can cover it up. We can pretend it's not there, even though it is a little annoying. These curtains, by the way, were just so perfect for this entire build. Like, can you see how good they look in the bedrooms? I mean, every time you get a glimpse, like, look at those curtains. Oh my god. They feel so regal. Genuinely, they are perfect. I actually think maybe it might have been 8 beds. Now I'm, like, doubting myself. You can also see the bathrooms there. I made cubicles. Instead of just putting in cubicles, because I thought the cubicles we have in the game just didn't look right for these sort of olden style that I was going for. So I just kind of made cubicles. I kind of like how dark and scary they look. I did still use the showers, so those showers that are in there, your Sims can go in and they don't, they can use them with other Sims being in the room. Like, no other Sims can see them in there, so they're definitely better for these kind of community areas. So I was right. Okay, so we can see the chess areas here. Again, I wanted to make every space as functional as possible, and I thought having this chess area made a lot of sense. Your Sims can come and build their logic skill and just kind of have fun here, so I knew I needed to get more paintings in. I think having more paintings in this build makes the most sense, and I wanted them to be quite olden style paintings. So I really went to town with the amount of sort of collage walls of paintings. See, I'm now kind of realising that this pack is probably going to have quite... Sorry, not this pack. This build is probably going to have quite a lot of packs, and it's honestly mainly because of the different paintings I've used. I think for the most part, like, I've used the castle kit, life and death, obviously adventure awaits, but that's more for the functionality of it. Anything else is... things can be very easily replaced, and a lot of that, to be honest, is the paintings. So if you do get this and you find lots of paintings are missing, it's going to be very easy to just replace them with any that you've got. And don't forget, and this is something I always forget, on the gallery you can find a lot of really good custom artwork where people have gotten their Sims in game, and you have to have a Sim that has like the highest artistic skills, but you can get them to paint something from like real life, and they'll paint it in game, and then you can put it on the gallery and people can download it, and the game doesn't think it's CC or anything. So if you are a bit stuck for paintings, maybe you have less packs, like definitely go on the gallery and type in honestly anything, and it will likely come up as a custom like artwork, and you can just put it in your game. Like, you can download it, it's like a wall normally, it's like on a wall, and you can take it off the wall in game and put it wherever you want. So if you're ever struggling with the lack of paintings we have, and honestly there is a lack, you can always do that as like an alternative, and it's something I need to remember more often because there's some really good ones on the gallery. See, this is terrible. I'm so sporadically moving around. as I'm trying to figure out what else is like it is I want to do. I think I was also showing somebody in my chat the actual build itself real quick, and obviously I've sped it up so you're seeing it so fast. Once again, it looks like I'm making some adjustments to the schedule. I've tried to cut out some other times I was making adjustments, but that was quite short, so I'll leave that in. Something I definitely did get a little bit stuck on this part was just the roofing for this particular building. Like, it's so big because it had to be for all the dorms and stuff, but damn, like, everything I did felt kind of weird. In the end, I decided on this quite fragmented fragmented kind of roofing. But at first, I just felt like I couldn't leave it flat. It felt kind of weird flat. See, and here we are already, like, this is after I finish streaming, so everything looks back to normal. You can see everything quite clearly, so sorry that it looked kind of rubbish there for a little bit, but hopefully it's okay now. Okay, so this is one of the bits I was kind of scared of, was actually this long pathway. And you want to make the area feel full, but with enough space for the Sims to be able to, you know, move around. And it was so hard to figure out what to put that looked good and didn't like take up too much space. So I kind of ended up moving some of the pathway, making it a bit bigger. Just because I thought this fountain was a nice way to make it look more fancy, but then also fill in some more space, because I don't want it to be too empty. It's a difficult balance, I think, to find. I also really like with this little fencing bit from high school years, it's got the little lights on. I think that's really cute. I never use it, but for this kind of build, it really came in clutch. Like, it's kind of perfect. I love when you accidentally press that like button that just takes you back to the the world view. Oh, that's so annoying. And here I am starting to work on the actual landscaping. Again, a very important part of this to help it not feel so empty. You've got to have some more going on, I think. Even with the hedges being so simple, I think it really helps to feel like there's something more actually going on. And here we are at the hallway of the dormitory building, where we've got the stairway leading up to the dorms themselves. I wanted to have these bookcase doors to, lead into the library. I thought they really matched the theming we're going for here, the very sort of olden feeling. I feel like having these secret doors, it just makes sense. You got to know the password to get in here, kind of thing. And obviously all the students would know the password, but just in case someone comes in and tries to steal all the books, you got to be prepared. But the room next to this is going to be the classroom. And I think I put in just another toilet or something in that little rectangular room next to the library. But we are going to start work on that classroom soon. Which, don't worry, I didn't cut that out, so you'll be able to actually see it this time. Now, as I'm here trying to work out the colour scheme for the classroom, I've needed to include a lot of creative elements to it. So as you remember from the beginning with our schedule, we had quite a lot of different things I wanted the students to be able to do. I knew I was going to need some sort of stage setup, which we're going to do. I think it's one of the first things I do in here, actually. And just some tables where they can do the new arts activity that they can do in game. Oh, my favourite curtains. Oh my god, I love these curtains so much. Well, they're not my favourite, but come on. These ones are from Businesses and Hobbies, if I remember rightly. But don't they just look so good in this kind of room? Like, look at them, they look so good. But here we go. I've got to check the actual activities I put down so I remember what this room is going to be for. And we're moving on to the stage. And of course, I wanted it to feel like a proper stage. I end up putting a load of musical instruments here, and I kept having to keep checking like which musical instruments the kids could actually use, because we have the child violin. I know they can use keyboards, but I assumed they could use pianos, but I actually had to check because I was like, just because they can use keyboards doesn't mean they can use pianos. But I must have had a child sim use a piano before. I just could not for the life of me remember. Oh my god, for some reason I've cut like to here from the classroom, but these windows got shutters on the back. So you can't actually see outside, which is perfect for these basement rooms because it makes it feel like there is a window, but you know, there isn't. But I think it just really helps the room to feel more done, because otherwise these basement rooms just feel really sad. And they still are a little bit sad, but I wanted them to be still simple. Like, you don't want to overclutter this kind of space. Just want to say I am so sorry if you can hear my dog at all in any of these. My dogs are being fed right now as I'm recording, so they are kind of loud. And here I am just adding a little bit extra to this kind of cozy room outside of the green dorms. I wanted this to be a really nice little sitting area just in general, and I thought the rocking chairs added a nice touch, and they go well with the colours. And here we are finally back at the classroom, where once again I am checking the list of activities that each one means and like what I need to include. Papercraft, that's the name of the new activity. Yes, I did already forget. But I definitely wanted them to be able to do the new activity here. Just makes sense. Like, I knew I was going to want to play all of these new things in the game. Right, here we are back in the room where I keep trying to figure out what things I actually need. It was hard to figure out what art tables I wanted in here, and part of me was worried because, you know, when you actually duplicate them like this, they all kind of look the same, which doesn't always look as good, but I feel like they're necessary for, you know, the functionality of it. I want you to be able to engage in all of the actual activities I've set up, so I kind of needed to have them, but I don't love how they look. Maybe I should have tried to mix and match different ones, but then the wood colours would have been different. Wood colours wood. Too many woods. I definitely wanted to use this, what do you call it? Like the play furniture, like the drama item puppetry thing. I really wanted to use that because I never use it in my gameplay enough. I've used it in one of my really old legacy families. One of the kids did, but that was so long ago. So it's a bit of an excuse to try and make use of it. This long table here is where we're going to have our paper craft. I wanted to space them out a bit. Remembering to actually put them somewhere where I had chairs. Because one of them I just put in the middle of the table. And I was just trying to think of what else can fill the space and what else can be useful. I mean, having the different blathies I think is very useful in terms of building their other social skills and not it just being from them talking to other Sims. It's also kind of funny when they get angry and they kick them. Although, do the kids do that or is it just adults? But I can't remember, but when they do kick them over, it is kind of funny to me. So I wanted to have them there for that reason too, which is a weird reason to have them. But I thought the stools in front of the puppetry thing was really cute. And as you can see there, I have the board so that if you want to lead any classes or lectures or whatever, you can. Because I guess I should note that if you don't have anybody teaching lessons, then they will still use these items, but just by themselves. They'll just come in here, some kids will be drawing, some kids will be playing music. I guess in theory, anyway. That should be how everybody interacts with stuff. Just during the allotted time that they have in the morning, if I remember correctly, where they should be doing creative things. They'll be in here doing different sorts of creative stuff, and hopefully they take it in turns and don't just stand around looking lost, but we'll see. We'll try to put enough things for them to do. Here I am going back and forth, just once again trying to add in more art. Just trying to fill in those gaps, make it look more just filled in. And I keep going back and forth on the colour scheme of those tables. finally taking some time to do more landscaping. I did literally just some hedges earlier and that was it in terms of landscaping, so we are back. We're actually filling in some more of the lot. I didn't want, again, to be this massive green empty space. I wanted there to be lots of plants, to feel like it's the countryside that it's set in, so I really liked those big flowers too. I felt like in a fancy place like this they would have some sort of shrubbery that's kind of on the fancy side. Yeah, so I'm putting some marbles here because, I mean, maybe it's just me. I have barely tried using them. And I want to change that. Because I think the marbles are kind of fun. I think you can collect them in those little jars. And like the idea of having this kid who just collects marbles and really enjoys playing the game, I think is fun, but I never do it for some reason. I kind of forget that it's there. So I'm trying to change these habits and actually get into using them. Here I am trying to figure out the science table, and I think I end up changing it to the room that's above the dining room. Maybe I leave one of them in here. Now I'm trying to think, did I leave it there or not? That's the difficult thing when you did a build so long ago and now you're trying to, you know, come back to it. We're all the way back over at this greenhouse now, because I'd put some things in here ready earlier, which is what I said earlier. I wasn't really done. I didn't really know when I was going to come back, but here we are. I think I am gonna finish the greenhouse now. ADHD, I try not to move on and do every other part of the build challenge. And I'm not just making a joke, that I genuinely do have ADHD, I promise. Diagnosed, okay? There's just too many people trying to be like, oh, I'm so ADHD, I'm so autistic, and it's like, bro, you have no idea. It's like someone will forget one thing and suddenly they're ADHD. It's like, please stop. You're making it harder for those of us who do actually struggle, and it's not so quirky. It's actually just bad. Some of us are barely able to stay employed because they have the issues they have, okay? It's not all quirky and fun, but, you know. Us ADHD people, we can try and have a laugh about it, huh? Yeah. And this is when I realised that I've really got to start working on the lighting of the outside, because I just haven't really done that yet. And it's nothing that's worse than when you look over a build and it's just pitch black at night. Obviously having some of the darkness I think is quite atmospheric. I think it makes sense for an older building like this, but I also didn't want it to be so dark that you couldn't have any gameplay at night, because I mean, in the evening they have different activities, so I want you to be able to do those activities and be able to see your Sims. Whilst it still feels kind of creepy, like a haunted castle kind of thing. I mean, I should note this castle isn't haunted, but I want the kind of vibes to be there. Like, you can see this is the kind of place where the students say that it's haunted. Maybe they scared like the new kid being like, oh my god, there's a ghost, up in this corridor. You can see it as being that kind of place. So at this point, I start actually finishing off the head teacher's abode, putting some stuff in there. There's things like bathrooms that are a little bit, honestly, tedious to do, but you kind of have to come back and do them. I think I did most of the head teacher's house in like the other part, so I'm sort of just at the finishing touches part of the build, really. I know I need to put some actual wallpaper in, and just sort of just the little things. As I kind of said before, I didn't want to make any of the spaces too cluttered, so this doesn't have like loads of clutter about. It doesn't look super lived in. I'm also a little bit worried about other Sims coming up and using this space. If that becomes a problem, you can always like block off just outside the big doors, so that you still have how nice the big doors look, but you can just have a wall on the inside part so that they can't actually get into this area. If it becomes, and you could just put another bed in the basement for the head teacher instead. I kind of knew that I wanted to have it for the vibes, but if it's a bit annoying when you're playing, then you can kind of just have it be a fake room that they can't get into, because again, Sims are a nuisance and they don't always stay where you want them to stay. We all know this. Oh, and this is the little science room I was saying about earlier, and how I wanted them to have a space for the science tables. I feel like it makes sense for those night activities when they can do some science, they can use the telescopes, and then any of the others who want to sit by the campfire, they can do it just sort of below the area at the front. So none of them are too far away from each other, which I think is nice. Like, I don't want the Sims to be too spread out. I kind of want them to be doing their separate activities together, if that makes sense. I love hiding my mistakes. I just didn't want to mess with the terrain too much there. Decided, hey, let's just put some landscaping in. That whole thing of just hide what you don't want to see. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all just a part of building in The Sims. I do really love that little bit by the campfire though, of all of the landscaping and the water. You know, imagine actually having that area for a campfire. Like, it would just be so cozy. You know, I'm so jealous of the Sims who get to come here. It looks so cozy. Although, I say that, I don't actually think I could handle a boarding school. I don't think I'd be very good at going to a boarding school. It's just, you know, I like being around my family, despite how annoying family can be. You know, that's just the nature of having family. I think I would have found it very difficult as a kid, having to be away for so long, because, you know, the whole thing is that you go away for all those term times, that you're only really back during holiday periods, and I just think that's crazy. Like, can you imagine being away for almost, like, the majority of your childhood you're at school? I'm sure there's really great things about it, but I'm too anxious for that kind of thing. Even as a kid, I think I would have been far too anxious. In fact, even more so, I probably should say. I mean, the overgrown look of the landscaping's really coming along, I do have to say. And here we go. Okay, I think we are at the lobby now. Because obviously you don't actually need a lobby. It's not functional. It doesn't make any sense. But for the vibes, it needed to be here. You know? And I don't think it really is that good as being like an actual what a lobby to this kind of place would look like. Because what do I know? But I liked the idea that they had this front office. I just think it makes sense for the staff who, again, will probably never actually use this area. But the vibes are good, as we know, and that's the more important thing. See, now I'm having that struggle, as you guys can see, of knowing what to put in this kind of space. Because again, don't want too much clutter, still needs to be a functional build, but at the same time, you don't want it to be empty, so what the hell do you put? So I ended up going for just kind of lots of sofas. Obviously we have the computer desks in the front office, typewriters being more along this kind of aesthetic, but it was just tricky to make the space feel full, but also not be full. I don't really know what to do. But we got there in the end. We got the perfect balance between not having too much stuff, but having enough to feel like it made sense and it was, you know, worth being there. And as you can see now, just kind of working on terrain paint, and is one of the most tedious parts of it, but I kind of like seeing the dimension when you put the mud under things and you start getting some stepping stones in. Like, it all just comes together really nice. I think it just really does add some extra layers to it and make it feel more realistic, because when you just have the green and then some sort of bush on top. Like, it just doesn't feel very realistic looking. Just having that mud, especially underneath this sort of river, or is it a stream? Not sure what the correct word is. It's probably neither of those things. But it just makes, well, moat, of course. What am I saying? It's a moat. But it just makes it feel more realistic. So here I am just going about, especially our planters here. Just get some mud. I am going a little bit off topic, but not really. The planter box is there. I wasn't sure whether I should like put things in them ready, or whether it should just be up to your Sims. And I decided, like, if you wanted to fill them with stuff just from the gallery, you can do that when you download it, but I figured I'd leave it empty just in case, and then you have the option. It's up to you at that point. I figured that made more sense. I mean, you can decide what you want to do, because you might want to have them empty and like lead some little gardening class or something. You could totally do that if you put one of the boards outside, I'm sure. As long as you have somebody who has high enough gardening, they could probably lead a little class by the greenhouse, and I think that would be really fun to do. I thought the stones underneath the campfire made sense. I guess, you know, don't really want to be lighting the fire on the grass. Maybe that helps in terms of, you know, it being a bit of a fire hazard. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything about health and safety. Yes, and I realised this area did look a little bit empty, and I think the border of the fence kind of helps to put some more there. But I think we are getting to the point where I'm nearly finished with the build, which is kind of exciting. It's exciting to see how it all came together in the end. Again, obviously, I have seen it before. So here you are getting a good view of the front. There's a lot to look around at. I think I was kind of just doing a look around to make sure I hadn't left anything, but also to give you guys a good view of how it looks. I mean, you're seeing it from different lighting here too. I think the lighting doesn't look the best during the day from the front, but I mean, come on, we all know lighting can be a big problem in this game. But here's a view of that front lobby. Obviously through that curtain you can go downstairs to the basement, and then the stairs go up to the head teacher's house, apartment, whatever you want to call it. Here are the staff bedrooms, kind of sad looking as we know, but functional, easy. They have quite a nice bathroom, much nicer than the kids get. I decided that, like, this is a bit more of a renovated area, so they can have like the nicer cubicles, whereas the students are in like the older building. So it makes sense that they have the worst looking bathrooms. And here's that look over the head teacher's house. I intentionally left the hallway kind of empty because you don't really need to be filled with stuff, and once again I didn't want to make it too crazy cluttered, but a nice simple little apartment for them. Got those fancy curtains, a different kind of fancy curtains. I think those might be base game or something. They're old, they're definitely not new curtains. It does lead out to that science area, as I was indicating there. So the head teacher's got pretty good access to everything, to be fair. They're in quite a good spot to be able to oversee. We go out here into the main courtyard with that fountain, and leading to just a lot of the activities and stuff that we've got going on. The play set. See, with the lighting like that, it's so beautiful, isn't it? That dusk lighting. Very nice. I know I'm saying very nice about my own build, but I am pretty proud of it. You know, I think that's okay. But I'm really proud of how it turned out. It does look beautiful. It's so easy to make castles now with that kit. Like, I wonder if anyone actually tried to make castles before, and I'm sure, like, when they saw this kit come out, best day of their lives. But the play set here, it maybe looks a little bit out of place for a castle, but you know, they would have added that in for to make it more modern. It makes sense. And the swimming pool, I don't know, I probably discussed more of that in the last video, but makes sense. I think it's important to have one, even though I feel like it looks a bit out of place, but that's why I wanted to have a roof on top, but it just didn't seem right. Oh, here I was deciding I needed to have a slide. It's not really in the best place there. Did I definitely put it? I did. I don't know how well that is in game. I hope nobody clashes into each other. I have been playing a lot of Water Park Simulator, and certainly my guests have some accidents in this kind of way. So I hope it's safe. Who knows? I haven't actually really played that much with the slide, so at least with the diving board in there as well, so I don't know. It leads to that dining room. We have the kitchen. The stairs obviously take you up to the science room. But here is our dining room, nice and simple, spacious, with those games tables. Whether your Sims will actually eat in here, I don't know, but the hope is that they will. We had that tiny kitchen that's a little dark, but you know, it makes sense for this kind of build, and that butterfly cage. And then up we are at the science area. We have this just very small little room that I mostly put in to make the castle look better, but it serves as a place to just have those science tables. But then if we come back down, I think I'm going to take you into the boarding area now. Or am I going to go to the greenhouse? No, we're at the boarding area. Okay, so hopefully I'll give you a really good look at the bedrooms that you had to miss me furnishing, and I'm still so annoyed about. I'm just giving you a view of the outside of the floors here. Again, it's a massive building. It's a truly massive building, and forgetting the floor on top of the tower. See, it's those little mistakes that you just kind of miss. But we have the hallway that leads you to this big classroom with all of our creative things. Hopefully it works well when you're actually playing, but if you need to, you can always make some little adjustments here. But a nice place for your arts and crafts, all of the paper craft stuff. There's so many different things here that all of your Sims should be occupied at all times. Fingers crossed. And here I think I realised that I could probably do with having some step up to the stage, because I think they can still get up there, but you know, you figure with kids, like you want to have some easy steps, just it's for better access, even though the Sims themselves don't actually really need that, but it made me feel better to put them in. Here I am showing you the extra playground, very simple, but a nice space. And the corridor that leads to this amazing library. And I say it's amazing because honestly, I would just kill to be in a library like this. Like, being able to look up and see the big windows and all of those books. The difficult bit is actually being able to show you the building itself, like show you the library, because, you know, I'm desperately trying to give you a view of it here, but it's hard. But here you kind of get a vibe. It's not the easiest thing to see, but you can get where we're coming from here. I bet the kids would be so annoying with this though. Like, if I was one of the kids on these like balconies, I'd be chucking things at kids like at the top, you know, or vice versa. Like, I feel like this is a recipe for disaster, but it's cool. You can see there's a little bathroom coming off from the library there. Just a really simple, I think it's just a singular bathroom. Yeah, very simple. I think useful to have if you're downstairs instead of always going up to the dorms. Although your Sims might do that anyway. We know that they route weirdly. We have this chest corridor which will lead into the red dorms. Yeah, I was kind of highlighting some of the clipping there. Please ignore it. I tried everything, but it just clips weird sometimes, and that's just how it's gotta be. It's one of those things. And here you go. You might have missed me building it, but you can get a really good vibe for it here. I am so proud of these dorms. Look at how cozy they are. I think the green one's my favourite overall, but the red feels especially cozy. Got the random little cushion there in the middle of the room. I thought it was cute though. I like the idea of they've just been sat there. A little bit of clipping on that wall, but I think sometimes you just have to pretend it's not there. The stained windows are so cool. I think they're perfect for this kind of royal, well, you know, the castle itself, but the fact that this is a fancy boarding school. Like, you could say it's the crest of that dorm or something, or the crest of the school. I used some different stained glass windows in the green room, but again, I was very happy with this space. I would want to spend all of my time in here. So cozy. And here we have the green dorm. We have that outside seating area. Very simple. I think it's nice for the students to have. Hopefully they can do their homework and reading over here. And then the green dorm is a little bit lighter, but very cozy as well. We've got a lot more of that green and yellow kind of theme going on. I put those chests in front of each of the beds because I like the idea that you can put their own individual belongings just in those little chests over the time that they spend here. I don't know if you'd actually want your sim to do that. I guess you've got to make sure you don't leave your stuff there. I don't even know if you can technically do that in game, but you know, for a lot that isn't just your home lot. But even if it's not like functional, it's still just kind of nice to have for the story, I think. But yeah, I was pretty proud of these dorms. I think they're really pretty. And then of course we had that final bathroom that there's not much point really showing because it's just a bathroom. It's not too much else to see there. Yeah, and I think I'm mostly just gonna give you a little overview now, just a general, you know, look around. I am very proud of this place. I like the fact that it still feels like this massive castle, but isn't actually super big. You know, it's I think it works for what it is. And yeah, I was very proud of it. If you want to download this, it's on my gallery at lucymushroom. But yeah, I think we're done. If you have forgotten, this is a lot in the life and death world. It's sort of kind of the perfect place for a farm, but then I decided, hey, let's build an old boarding school here instead. I think it matches the vibes of the world pretty well. But yeah, there's not too much else to say. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that part 2 took a little bit longer to come out, but I hope you enjoy it nevertheless. Have a lovely day, evening, wherever you are. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Give me any other video ideas, build suggestions, whatever it is in the comments. I really do like to read them. It really puts a smile on my face when people do decide to comment, so feel free to leave any ideas there. And I will see you later. Bye bye!